By the end of October, frustration pervaded both Japanese and American high commands around Guadalcanal. Allied ships afloat and aircraft aloft had failed to seal off the island or even guarantee the safe arrival of reinforcements. Admiral Halsey, after 2 weeks as Commander South Pacific Force, felt exasperated. On shore, an alleged irresistible force, the Imperial Japanese Army, had met a demonstrably immovable object, the United States Marine Corps. Something had to give soon. During November, each side decided to attack the other, each believing his strength sufficient to hammer the issue into a favorable, final shape. In Noumea, Halsey accelerated the movement of supplies and reinforcements while disrupting the enemy's efforts. Admiral Yamamoto, through Admiral Kondo, completed an operation plan designed to secure supremacy in the Solomons. Characteristically, the American plan was simple and direct: bring in troops and supplies over airways and sea lanes, while the Japanese drew up an involved schedule of interdependent troop and ship movements. On 30th October, anti-aircraft cruiser Atlanta and destroyers Aaron Ward, Benham, Fletcher, and Lardner escorted transports carrying 155 Voerthemia artillery, a welcome present for Marines who could finally outshoot Pistol Pete. After sunrise on 3rd of November, while the big guns were being unloaded, the escort gave rousing bombardment support to a westward push to Point Cruz. Between 2 and 10 November, the enemy pulled the old trick of sneaking through the Sound, landing whopping 1,500 troops and then many more by destroyer. Yet cruisers San Francisco and Helena drenched the new positions, and by the 9th, the Coley Point force was practically exterminated. Meanwhile, Seabees worked overtime to repair and enlarge Henderson Field. Planes based there punished destroyers and covered the flow of ammunition. Lansdowne's 90 tons brought in under the periscope eye that torpedoed the cargo ship Majaba. Execution of American plans remained with Rear Admiral Richmond K. Turner, Commander Amphibious Forces, South Pacific. 2 transport groups loaded with troops, food, ammunition, and aviation materiel headed north under cover of cruisers and destroyers led by Rear Admirals Norman Scott and Daniel J. Callahan. Intelligence hinted at a press of enemy shipping at Truk, Rabaul, and the Shortlands. Halsey sent troubleshooters, Task Force 16 under Rear Admiral Thomas Kincaid, with carrier Enterprise and battleships. If Big E, still repairing, could not arrive in time, the battleships with 4 destroyers would be detached under Rear Admiral Willis A. Lee. That is exactly what happened, and mighty fortunate that it did. Submarines and South Pacific land-based aircraft added pressure, while General Geiger's 1st Marine Air Wing at Henderson provided direct cover. The Japanese, for their part, poised a powerful screen under Admiral Kondo: 2 light carriers, 4 battleships, 11 cruisers, and over 36 destroyers to cover a major reinforcement. The plan envisioned Henderson Field smothered on 14th of November by a heavy bombardment. Both sides possessed fair intelligence of the other's intentions. There was no question of surprise in the strategic sense. D-Day in North Africa dawned as Turner's transports approached Lunga. Copies of the morning press passed hand to hand among men long inured to delay. But a seaplane-carrying submarine had already sighted the convoy. At daybreak on 11th November, when anchor chains roared down the hawse-pipes of Zealand, Libra, and Bellatrix, Marines moved ashore with speed. A dozen vals from carrier Hio swooped in. Warning from a coast watcher and from radar produced a vigorous anti-aircraft reception. Later, some 27 Bettys came from Rabaul. Turner, a master at eluding torpedo plane attack, turned right to tempt the northern group, then swung left so the torpedoes ran harmlessly parallel. Wildcats from Henderson mauled the southerly wave. Anti-aircraft batteries averaged 1 elimination per minute. There was a price. Destroyer Buchanan took heavy topside damage from friendly fire and was ordered out. A wounded enemy plane deliberately crashed into San Francisco's after control, knocking out a radar set and an AA director, wounding about 50, including Commander Mark H. Kreuter, who refused evacuation and would soon be dead. By dusk on 12th November, with 90% of cargo already on the beach, the transports retired. Callahan would block, and block hard. He ordered Battle Disposition B-1, a snake-like column. Destroyers Cushing, Laffey, Sterrett, and O'Bannon in the van. Cruisers Atlanta, San Francisco, Portland, Helena, and Juneau in the center. Destroyers Aaron Ward, Barton, Monson, and Fletcher in the rear. The formation eased navigation in restricted waters and simplified signaling. But the ships with the best search radar were not in the lead, and Atlanta, with inferior gear, steamed ahead of the flagship. Vice Admiral Hiroaki Abe was already coming down. Battleships Hiei and Kirishima, light cruiser Nagara, and 14 destroyers. Shell hoists were crammed with thin-shelled, quick-fused bombardment rounds. Flashless powder was ready. Expecting the Americans to be gone with the sun, Abe did not anticipate a major surface encounter. Squalls flickered over Iron Bottom Sound near midnight. Abe reversed course, then, upon a favorable report from Guadalcanal, put about again for Lunga. 40 minutes lost. Ahead, in starlight and sheet lightning, 2 American columns and a Japanese bombardment force were about to collide at pistol-shot range. In the hours that followed, the Japanese learned, first with Hiei, wrecked by gunfire and air attack, then 2 nights later with Kirishima under the radar-directed guns of USS Washington, how quickly giant ships could be fixed and obliterated. The trauma registered in wardrooms and in Tokyo diaries, not just the loss of steel, but of certainty, as the myth of invincibility bled into Iron Bottom Sound, and the initiative in night battles slipped away for good.